Hello, you're probably expecting an episode of Fallacious Trump about now. But instead, we've got something even more exciting for you.
Is that possible?
Yeah, we're not giving you something to just kind of keep you happy while you wait for an episode of Fallacious Trump. This is better.
This is going to fill your every waking hour.
Yeah.
Because we're taking a week off because I'm in transit from my vast French villa, as
palatial
you described
villa,
it. Palatial, Fallacious Towers, the French version. So I'm in transit, so we are having to take a week off. So in the interim, we're going to give you this episode, the first episode of us discussing the marvellous, I'm hesitating to use the word, the Michael Flatley film Blackbird, which we're looking at as a kind of Trump-adjacent thing.
It is really something.
It is.
I mean, that's legally accurate. It is really something.
It's truly there, and it exists. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And in a way, this is kind of a present as well for you, even though it's slightly because we're taking a week off. But this is essentially our kind of 5th anniversary of doing the show.
So it is.
We started end of May, beginning of June, all the way back in 2018.
Wow, which is about the time that this film was being made.
Yeah. Coincidentally.
Oh my God! Yeah.
So happy birthday!
Happy birthday to us.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And any listeners whose birthday it is, just as a weird coincidence. Bound to happen.
And all those people that have been listening from episode 1, wow. Well done for finding us, and thanks for sticking with it.
Yeah.
So here's our gift to you. That kind of gift horse mouth thing. Yeah. Maybe that applies.
Yeah, it's one of those gifts where you open it and go, oh, thanks.
In the presence of the gifter.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have.
but we did.
And also, by way of if you're not already a patron, this is by way of a taster into the wonderful world of patronage.
Yes.
Because we do these kind of odd and bizarre Trump-adjacent things where we look at books and YouTube channels and films and discuss them at great length because we're great length kind of people.
Because we're like that, yeah.
There's nothing we enjoy more than tearing apart terrible films.
That is true. So, normal service will resume next week with episode 125. But in the meantime, enjoy.
Enjoy this, yeah.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned, and am about to sin again.
No one has seen you for years. We feared you were dead.
Come on, darling. You know I'm talking sense.
Shall we dance?
The Irish jig guy? His legs flail about as if independent from his body.
Hello. Welcome to our very special bonus episode in which we're doing a film. We're talking about a film.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And as we tend to talk about films, it's another wouldn't have been made if it wasn't for the financing capability of what turns out to be not only the producer, but the writer and the director.
Uh-huh.
But,
and the star. And the star,
yeah. So this could be, this is basically It's Me, You Madness 2.
It's a vanity project, yeah.
Yeah.
And in case you weren't able to figure out from the intro, it is by Michael Flatley, Lord of the Dance.
Yeah.
And the reason that I think this is appropriate for us to discuss, apart from the fact that it's a fucking awful vanity project and that's fun, is Michael Flatley was one of the only celebrities who was prepared to perform at Trump's inauguration. And so many other people, like everyone else you've ever heard of, he asked and they said no because he's a hateful bigot. But Flatley was totally up for it and did his river dance show at the inauguration and therefore is, in my mind, aligned with Trump and open to abuse, as we are about to give him.
and also, he didn't do it for nothing.
Oh, no.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know,
also,
actually. Maybe. I don't know what the procedure is. Probably not, no.
Right. But did Trump ever pay him?
Oh, again,
that's the thing.
Probably not.
Yeah. So I wonder what was going through his tiny dancing mind when he kind of went, oh, yeah, that'll be good. I will do that. Probably because he's thinking, I'm never going to get invited to another president's inauguration ever. I'll do that because it will be good for my career.
Maybe.
Right. Right. Or he's a right-wing bigot.
I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I will say I don't think he really needs the money. He's not like a billionaire, but his net worth has been estimated at around $250 million. So he's doing all right for himself.
Yeah.
He did pretty well out of Riverdance.
Given that he dances without using his arms at all.
Yeah, imagine how much he'd be able to make if he used his arms too.
I know, yeah. Twice as much, you'd think.
Yeah.
Surely. Because at some point his knees are going to give out and he'll have nothing but his arms to wave.
Well, if his knees do give out, I think he's doing all right as well because his legs are insured.
Right.
He insured his legs back in the 90s for like $25 million.
Wow.
So,
the only other person I've ever heard that did insure her legs or had her legs insured was Sid Charisse.
yeah.
Spelled CYD, who I think maybe the studio
Possibly
insured them because they went on for miles. And she'd walk into the room and it'll take 5 minutes for the rest of her arrived. And on that basis alone, I think
Fred Astaire's legs might have been insured for a large amount of money as well. But,
yeah. Funny, isn't it? Surely you'd want to insure the rest of him with them.
No. As long as you've got the legs.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
It's a bit like wasn't it Herbie Hancock who did that one was, and the guy that did the music video for it used kind of shot dummy legs and just animated those in a really crude and kind of scary way.
Right.
So, I mean,
But I don't remember the Herbie Hancock music video that you're referring to.
People are flooding. They're going, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. Shazam is lighting up, going, oh yeah, it's it. It's the one with the pervy men legs dancing around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's what happened when you just insure your legs. You turn up in a video from the 80s.
Right. Yeah, but Flatley, not content to flail his legs around as if unconnected from his body, he has apparently for a while wanted to be a filmmaker. This is not his first.
Everybody wants to be a filmmaker.
Attempt
really
at making a film. Although it is his first feature.
Right.
He also produced and starred in a couple of shorts.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, thankfully, people stopped him before. This is not his first attempt, but they were thwarted because sane, grown-up adults who work in the film industry just went, no, you're not going to do that. What on earth
Well,
are you
that's
doing?
the beauty of having all that money, you see, is people don't get to say no.
Give my regards to Broad Street all over again.
Yes. So he did a couple of shorts. I haven't been able to track them down, unfortunately. But he played a sad clown in something called A Little Bit of Tear, and I think a drunken soldier in one called Till Tomorrow, which he wrote, directed, and starred in and produced himself as well. But this is his first feature, and it's
where he plays a sad drunken clown,
secret agent
soldier
type clown. It's called Blackbird, and he basically he wants to be either James Bond or Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca. Yeah, preferably both.
Both.
And
this was the source of my rant. was what's it for? That was my question. What's this for? It's a you look at it and it's a 90-minute movie. And you think, oh, that's quite nice because it's not a 4-hour bloody epic that were many of which we had to sit through for the Oscars. Yeah, it is just plainly a midlife crisis vanity project.
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah. I mean, absolutely. This is a 12-year-old playing.
Yeah.
But they've put it on film.
Yeah.
With like proper production values and like locations and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, because he's got an enormous amount of money. But he just happens to be an ex-dancer in his 60s and not a 12-year-old. But otherwise, it's identical to what a 12-year-old boy would do.
Yeah, because you kind of think, surely it'd be cheaper just to get a motorbike. And then you could pretend to be Steve McQueen.
He's got the money. This cost... the budget for this was roughly
that'd be more expensive.
$3 million.
Oh my god!
So it's not a high budget film, and I'm sure almost all of that went on Eric Roberts, who is not the star
and the
of the
Barbados,
film, but the
Bayesian
no, because he lives
production.
in Barbados.
Okay.
That's the thing. He lives. It's filmed in London, Ireland, and Barbados, all of where he has homes. So I haven't been able to figure out if the place that they use, the location in Barbados, is actually his house. I don't think it probably is, but he probably knows the people there. But the other places, it's where he lives, so it didn't cost a lot. Although he did fly the Irish crew out. One of the things I will say is a good thing about this film, not about what anyone will notice when they're watching it. It won't be a benefit to any viewers, but purely on the basis of like responsible production, good production stuff. He has given a lot of small Irish businesses work here. Yeah. Because he has got a lot of very Irish actors.
Yes.
And an Irish production company. Yeah. And did some work with them in Ireland, flew them over to Barbados for a couple of weeks, probably, whatever, and got them to do a film there. And you know, he's gone with local boys instead of anyone who knew what they were doing, or could afford to turn him down.
So it's a kind yes, there you have it. Yes. Yeah. You see, because I think it still would have been cheaper if he just got a divorce and a younger wife, wouldn't it? To get through this midlife crisis. Because I think you're right that the 12-year-old thing is, I don't know, has he got kids?
Yes, we will talk about his kids in this, and not in a way that is disparaging of the children. Okay, but they will come up later.
You see, I think that what he's done is realise that he's no longer a child, but all the trauma and stress of having to earn a living and having kids and all that kind of stuff. Now that the kids have grown up and left, except for the one that turns up in the church scene, I'm guessing. Who looks a bit like the youngest Trump. So in a way that what I've tried to grasp what a midlife crisis is that there's a kind of a reaching back in time to a similar time when you didn't have any responsibilities. You didn't have to earn a living or bring up children or anything like that. And that's when you had all these childhood fantasies, and now he's got loads of money, so he can bring those about. And he kind of go, well, yeah. And we all loved, did we not, playing secret agents and and cars, and we weren't old enough yet to think about women, but exotic locations and fast cars and machine guns and all that kind of stuff. And you think, fine, do that, enjoy. Nobody's going to stop you. No one's going to judge you. Just don't make a bloody film about it.
I mean, or make a film about it. Make a film. Just don't show it to people. Phone. Don't put it in cinemas.
Yes, employ people to make.
Yeah, do what that girl did with that Friday record initially, where she like her parents were all clearly rich, and they said, "Yeah, go into the recording studio, make a record." But don't do what she did, where it got put on the internet. Don't do that. Yeah, don't show other people. Just enjoy that you did it. Have fun doing it. Have it for yourself. Watch it occasionally and enjoy remembering doing it.
It's like that.
That's what we do with our films.
Yeah.
We don't show them to people.
We show them to people. We show, you know, no, but our films are far more important than this. Our films tell the world about good things that are happening in the world. This isn't one of those good things. This is an obscene waste of money, you know. But fair enough. If you want to waste your own money, go right ahead. Just keep it to your bloody self.
So
and
waste...
also,
Go on.
Also, why make a spy movie? Because James Bond already exists, as does Casablanca.
No, I'll let you finish your point, and then I'll disagree with you. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, Jason Bourne exists, and latterly Mission Impossible also exists. Some might say Mission Impossible is Tom Cruise's midlife crisis, writ large, but at least he didn't write it. But actually, Top Gun Awakens is Tom Cruise's midlife crisis.
He didn't write that.
No, but that's his midlife crisis. But, you know, yes.
So I will say that I disagree, because there's always room for good movies in every genre where movies already exist. You can't just say because spy movies exist, so you don't need any more spy movies.
But you've got to make it as good as Jason Bourne is made with the same initials in the world where James Bond exists, and out Bond's Bond, and actually the broccoli Saltzman production team kind of upped their game as a result of Jason Bourne. Went, we got a bit baroque. We need to get back to gritty. And Mission Impossible.
It's a whole different thing, though. Those are studio movies. This is an independent film. I think it's absolutely fine to choose whatever genre you want for your own film that you're making, and be as ambitious as you can about it.
Yeah.
If it turns out to be shit, don't show it to people. And this very much turned out to be shit. As was pretty predictable from the outset. But I don't...
But that's the thing. Has anybody told him that?
No, loads of people, but not...
not whilst you were not while they were making it.
Whilst they were making it, they were being paid.
Yes.
So during that period, everyone was going, this is going to be fucking brilliant. But the point is that since it was made, certainly a lot of people have told him that it's very bad. And it seems like he probably realised it fairly early on, because this was made in 2018.
Yeah.
And it was shown out of competition at the Raindance Film Festival in London. Not as part of the festival, in a single screening that wasn't open to the press. So essentially, so that he could say it had been shown at Raindance.
I showed it at Raindance. I showed it in the toilet on my phone.
Yeah.
There was nobody there. Not even me. I just put it on the system and let it play.
Of members of the press who heard about that screening
were desperate to get in and see it.
Over the next couple of years, kept trying to be able to see this film, because they'd heard things about it that they thought, that sounds amazing, we should see that film. And one of the people who has been quoted, who as claiming that he sat in on that original one, and has described at the time several things that are in the film and suggest that he was there. Yeah. Mentioned a couple of things that are no longer in the film. So that sounds like there's additional editing having been done. For example, Flatley supposedly played flute at the funeral at the beginning of the film.
Yes.
He was also a flautist as well as a dancer. So that's plausible. Doesn't occur in the film as we saw it.
Well, let's hope there's a DVD version. Comes out
director's
with
cut.
the cutscene. Yes.
There's also supposedly a scene where someone gets shot in the head, gets like basically half their head blown off, and Flatley turns back to the camera and goes, "He's dead," which again isn't in the final version.
Right. Oh, I bet that was expensive.
Yeah, probably. But you got to kill your babies when you're editing. So
exactly. Yeah. But this thing would be 2 minutes long. Not even that. 3 seconds.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like there was feedback that he got post original screening that led to further editing, and therefore he made it as good as he possibly could, presumably, between that and when it screened at the inaugural Monaco Streaming Film Festival in 2022.
Right.
And that was not an open screening. There were members of the press who tried to get tickets for that screening.
Yeah.
And there were also, well, because it's a streaming film festival, and it was happening at the tail end of the pandemic. The pandemic's, still there. People still getting COVID, but it's, they thought, oh well, if I get tickets to this festival, then they're, online tickets, I'll be able to watch this film online.
Yeah.
They didn't put it online. They did have a kind of Q&A with Flatley that they put online, but not the film itself.
So in what sense was it a streaming?
Well, there was
streamed at the streaming festival.
There was a small in-person viewing with a limited number of attendees. It wasn't streamed, but there was an in-person viewing at Monaco, and of those small number of attendees, apparently they liked it well enough to award him Best Actor at the Monaco Streaming Film Festival.
Who watched the screening? Himself, maybe?
Could be.
Your man himself?
Yeah, Flatley, incidentally, has a house in Monaco. He lives there.
Okay.
And a large number of the people who are involved in the Monaco streaming film festival are kind of locals in the glitterati of Monaco.
It's Joe Queen and all over again.
They might be friends. It's hard to say.
And they're all going, yes, of all the films that we've seen, even if they only saw one film, you wouldn't award Best Actor, would you?
He's not the best actor in this film.
No.
Amazingly, and I can't believe I'm going to say this sentence out loud, Eric Roberts is the best actor in this film.
And that's how bad it is.
And it's not even close.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Given that we'll come on to what he's wearing and what he sounds like. Yeah.
So following the success.
No, I think the first barman is probably the best.
Can you name the barman?
No. But they were barmen that were very important.
There's one barman all the way through. We'll get to it. He has a name.
Yeah. No, there was a barman right at the beginning.
Same guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a secret agent. He's one of the chieftains. His special skill is apparently bar work, because that's all he does.
Yeah, and nodding in a knowing way. Yeah.
Certainly not acting.
No.
But following his success at the Monaco Streaming Film Festival, the odds on Flatley winning the Best Actor Oscar were slashed by bookies from 100 to 1 to 50 to 1 because none of them had seen the film either.
Right. Okay, I was going to say, who on earth would be putting the odds on and then safely slashing them from 100 to 1 to 50 to 1?
Yeah.
That kind of news only appears on publicity posters, with 3 dots either side. Slash odds of slash to 150.
For a couple of hours one afternoon, there was legitimate Oscar buzz about Michael Flatley. So
wow.
But then some people saw the film.
And the buzz was.
But essentially on the strength, or at least partly on the strength of the Monaco Festival, and the fact that the film's already been made and they might as well see what they could do. They managed to convince some people to put it in cinemas, and it had a brief cinema release, and it made back somewhere in the low single-figure percentages of its budget. The number I saw for its opening week release was £140,000 it made.
See, I wonder whether it's going to be like a Plan 9 from outer space type thing, where you'd go along.
It could
and
have
just,
a cult. Yeah, there's
like
at the
drinking...
Prince Charles Cinema in Leicester Square in London, where they have. I went at Christmas to a sing-along Muppet Christmas Carol there.
Oh, nice.
They have those kinds of shows.
Yeah,
It was sold out at Prince Charles Cinema. They showed it for a week of people wanting to see it. And I hope they all went in with hats at a jaunty angle. I would not be surprised at all. I think there will be some cosplaying. There will be people shouting out the lines.
There's got to be drinking games as well. You know, people dressed as a
I've
big
suggested
unit.
in my notes a couple of drinking games.
Okay, good. Yeah. So yes, because after at the end of however many episodes it's going to take, of course, if you feel encouraged to go watch the thing, don't pay money for it. But if you do, go to a sing-along version or a drink-along version, because that's the only way.
Yeah, in a group,
really, to kind of redeem your soul. Yeah,
get a large number of like-minded people together and watch it in a group.
Yeah,
with copious alcohol.
Yes, even if we don't, we should do that. We should
get the
organise
we should organise a viewers
QED
drinking party. Viewing party with drinking.
Yes, yeah. But every time somebody says, I can't get
every time they mention
this.
the Infinity Suite.
Or I can't get past this, or many things.
Yeah. So, lastly, before we start with the film itself, I just want to mention that it's co-produced by Roger Moore, and not that one.
Not
that Roger Moore, a different one.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
And one of the other co-producers is a guy called Glenn Kirby. He's an Irish producer who was responsible for most of the cast of this film being in it. Because I'm assuming that based on the fact that most of them have appeared in his previous films. He'd made like two other films, and several of the cast members are alumnus of his films. So that's how these people got together.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So they're still desperately trying to claw back any money that they sunk into other films. Yes, sunk cost fallacy. We should start up a film production company, Sunk Cost Films. Yeah.
So
might as well.
Let's actually talk about the film itself. It opens on some quite nice drone shots of the Irish coast.
Well, hang on.
We've got some production logos. Sure, okay.
There's a minute of the. No, wait a minute. It's like a whole minute of all the production things. So the first one, Dance Lord Pictures.
Yeah, that's obviously Flatley's,
which no longer exists. It was incorporated in 2019, dissolved in 2023. I've looked at their accounts. It doesn't have anything on it. They're exempt apparently. West One Entertainment isn't West One Entertainment Limited, which was dissolved in 2019, but it's based in Bournemouth, and their blurb on their Facebook group says, a Facebook page, "We are a film company that offers expertise in development, production and distribution for both short and feature films. If you have a project that is lacking in one or more of these areas, then reach out. We are offering free consultations from now."
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of, So this is one of the production companies.
Yeah, they, I believe, were originally called Jack in the Box Productions. So if you ever see any Jack in the Box connected with this film, that's also West One. They're the same company.
Yeah. Weirdly, west1entertainment.com, the domain is not claimed.
No.
It's been mapped to Squarespace. You click on the thing on Facebook, nothing.
No, it's not a big company.
No. But the fact that their mission statement is, if you have a project that is lacking in one or more of these areas, then what we will do is promote it with all of its lack. And it's God. They should have added in acting, script. So that, yes. And then we get Five Night Films, who are based in Dublin. So this must be where they, and their mission statement says, "We at Five Night Films are determined to bring you the very best of the best, no matter how complicated or uncomplicated the idea may be. We will do all we can to make it the very best idea possible." Who writes this? No, what? No, the market. Get a marketing team, get a comms team, and do away with that mission statement. They made Cardboard Gangsters, which I think probably contains some of the alumni from this film. There you go. Yeah. And then Parachute Films are based in Barbados. There you go. They've done, that's the connection there. And the post-production company, Egg Studios, is in Ireland. So that's the, so when you said they brought,
they're the ones who got involved, I think, after, well, no, Five Night are the ones they took over to Barbados with them. Parachute, I suspect, did largely at location stuff, like you know, B-roll of beaches and stuff, because there's a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yes, yeah.
Got to pad that time.
Yeah. And then, so we get all that. That's 34 seconds of logos. And then we get another 30-odd seconds where it reruns all that. So we get all the logos with the little...
Yeah, and then you have the names.
Music, and then you have the names. And then it ends with a Michael Flatley film. and the thing is, whenever I see that, and it isn't A, an actual film director's name, or B, doesn't say a Spike Lee joint, it makes me shudder. A Michael Flatley film. When I was at college, postgraduate college, doing film, one of the co-students, there were many of the boys on the course were called Mark, and one of the Marks put out a film afterwards, and he put a Mark Wilcox film, and he said, "Oh no, oh God," and he no. And then I met him years later when I was teaching a film course, and one of my students, his mate was Mark Wilcox. I went, "Oh, right, have you done any Mark Wilcox films?" No, I haven't. Dear. So after all of that, we then get stock footage, aerial shots.
Drone shots. Could be stock footage. Probably is stock footage. But could be something that they paid someone to do. Maybe.
Exactly. I think it was all them.
However,
going,
what I would say is they definitely had a drone.
Right.
Because they used the drone at the estate that Victor, which is our hero's name, lives at in County Cork. This is the Castle Hyde estate. This is Flatley's Irish house. And there's a funeral going on. Yeah. But the drone shots end with one of the approaching the house. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's kind of like even the aerial shots. There's one over the coast of Ireland.
Yeah.
Which, having watched the Banshees of Inisherin, when they did absolutely gorgeous location shots, which were kind of integral to the story. These are very much, okay, here we go.
Irish tourist
board shots. We're out of the
shots.
Credits. Yes, we're out of the credits and into there. And what you need is, you need a penny whistle playing, and then I don't know, an Irish actress's voice speaking, in warm terms.
A little bit of Enya. That's what you want.
A little
bit of Enya.
A bit of Enya. And then... And then I'm sure one of Bruce Forsyth's assistants on the Generation Game was Irish.
Isla St. Clair.
Isla St. Clair. Yes, that kind of a voice. Yes, or one of the Corrs.
Oh yeah, Andrea Corr.
Not the bloke, but the other ones. Yeah.
No, I'm glad to say that Andrea Corr wasn't involved in this film. Although Jim Corr, her brother, is a massive arsehole. So he probably would have done it.
Yeah. But there's not least for being the only boy in a band of girls. Yeah. But I did watch, there's a brilliant, on YouTube, there's a brilliant little documentary about Castle Hyde House because Flatley bought it when it was in a state of ruin and did it up, renovated it in a very Trump-like way. He's kind of walking about going, yeah, didn't he do a marvellous job with mahogany? Look at this. It's all being done with mahogany. At one point he says, yeah, the distance from here to the dining room is the same as an American football pitch. So people walk down there, they have cocktails, and then we go through there. And then you get shots of where he's done the columns in the staircase with gold. So is it real gold? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's just so gaudy and kind of awful. And then he bangs on about who's been there, from the chieftains to Cliff Richard. And then he's got pictures of himself with his arm around wee Barry McGuigan, the Irish flyweight boxer. And it's just very Trump-like. Yeah. And it's like from 2015 or something like that. And boy, is he a lot slimmer. Oh, he's a lot slimmer. Yeah.
So we're in the mansion. We get to his house, and the shot we get first is him looking sad near a window. It is. Stop! You're stopping me every single time I say here's the thing that happens first in the film.
No, it doesn't.
This is the thing. What happens first?
First shot is there's a shot of the plants. It's a tilt, push, and pull focus
to him.
Yeah, but the first shot,
looking sad by a window.
But there's a cut after that. The tilt push.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise we were going to do every single shot.
Well, only because it lays out
in the film.
Only because it lays out the production values, and so at that point, I was thinking, oh, well, this looks all right, because it's like there's two pull focuses whilst the camera's moving, and it's dollying.
Yeah, they've got actual
tilting.
Camera people to film this.
So I'm thinking, oh, hello, this looks all right. And then, of course, the first shot we get of a person, bloody close up, Flatley's pudgy face.
He is convinced that he is a good enough actor to be able to sell what emotions and what's going on behind the eyes to you without having to talk. He doesn't talk for 13 minutes in this film. He just broods.
Yeah.
And there's such a lot of brooding. Almost every scene where a normal editor director would have cut, we get a good minute or so more of him just looking.
Yeah,
that's how every scene ends.
That's more of that's a more apt description than brooding. He's just looking. Because brooding implies something going on behind the eyes.
He thinks he's brooding, though.
Yeah, but
that's what he's going for.
Well, there's weird in that shot. You kind of there's something odd about his eyelids. His
not
eyelids,
just in that shot.
His eyelids are lighter than the rest of his face.
Yeah, it's quite a Trumpian tan.
It is.
He's got,
yeah. He's got an Irishman's face. Let's face it. He's got a wide man from Cork's face. He's not the chiseled chap he used to be when he was doing all that tippity-tappity stuff. I guess because he's not moving about quite so much. He's not keeping the weight off. Yeah, and that's you just need to watch.
He's been keeping himself fit though, as we'll see later.
Yeah. Yes, either that or spending a lot on CGI. Yeah.
So we get a flashback. That's the next thing.
And at this point, right? So I'm trying to work out the geography of the room. So when we creep into we look through the door. They pull focus twice. We see a bird cage. Then we get the big fat face of Flatley brooding, looking, and then we work out. Oh, right, he's the other side of the cage because then he's looking at the cage. Then we get a flashback of some hands on the cage.
The existence of the bird cage reminds him of that time when his old gnarled liver-spotted hand reached out.
That's exactly why.
to
the
a
hand of
much younger woman's hand,
who's holding the bars of the cage.
Yeah, why is she holding the bird cage?
Well, I was trying to think, perhaps, okay.
Is she moving it? Is she picking it, about to pick it up and put it somewhere? And he's
is it a metaphor?
Don't worry, darling, I'll do that.
He's going to let her go, uncage the bird that he's kept. I was thinking, oh, okay, this is a lost love. He's had to let her go. All that stuff, because and there's the cage metaphor, but no. Plus, right? So we're outside the bird cage. We're basically
obviously we're outside the bird cage.
Yeah,
it's not that big a bird cage.
Well, no, but you say that because we're looking at the back of Flatley's right hand. So we're outside, and then we cut to the woman's face who belongs to the hand. And we've crossed the line already.
Yeah, immediately. We're
inside
breaking the rules
cage.
of editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to go back and check the geography.
But we didn't start in third cage. Yeah. So this you will never find out is Grace. That's who this woman is.
Ah, right. Okay.
The only reason I know that is it's in the credits. But it will never matter.
She's the dark-haired.
She is
the dark-haired.
She is the inciting incident of the story.
Right.
Is related to her. But it's told what leads Victor to where he ultimately ends up is told in fractured flashbacks that Flatley thinks are gradually revealing a story, but are actually obvious and confused.
Exactly, confusing the fuck out of me.
They are, and obvious and confused sound like not the same kind of thing. So you might be wondering how that works. But it's immediately clear what's happened, like from a minute away from here, and yet we will gradually find out that is indeed what happened in not a narratively coherent way.
No, which seems to implicate the other guy.
That's
somehow.
I mean, there's no reason for that whatsoever at all. No.
Never dealt with.
Yeah.
No.
But he and Grace stare wordlessly into each other's eyes, and we're supposed to assume some kind of emotion, but none is shown on either of them. And then we cut to a funeral in the grounds of his massive house.
Yeah,
under a tree. There's already three gravestones.
I was
3.5, kind of.
Yeah,
is one of them a pet? Maybe. You only get a small one.
Previous lovers?
I don't know. Is he a serial killer? That's what I've heard. Why is he burying so many people in his garden?
Yes. How has he got? How do you get permission to do that? Such that you get an Irish priest whose first words seem to be on the hoof.
Well, he's speaking Gaelic, I believe.
I know.
I mean, I've given them quite a lot of benefit of the doubt. He could be just a drunk. He might not be saying anything coherent in any language.
He's just reading out reviews of previous Riverdance shows. Yeah.
But I've gone with assuming he's talking Gaelic.
And of course, it's a funeral. So in your 12-year-old superhero secret agent spy movie, funeral, raining.
Always rains at funerals.
Always rains. Everyone wears
but
black.
It's not just raining.
Chucking it down with rain.
Pissing down. Like stair rods is I don't know even where that comes from, but that's the phrase that this amount of rain requires.
I think it's from banister stair rods, and I think it's because which is a bit of a confusion because it's like banister rods, which all got before they all got closed in the 60s. You used to have a banister going up the stairs, and it would have vertical rods,
wooden rods.
But stair rods are the things that hold down your carpet.
Exactly, your runner. Yeah. So I don't know why, but anyway,
vertical
for whatever
and horizontal,
reason,
possibly.
Maybe, but it is the most rain that you've seen. It's not. Weirdly, it's not raining over like where you can see the sky.
No, because it's actually golden hour.
It's quite a good, nice day.
It's shot in golden hour. It's that moment when the sun is about to dip between, below that wispy strip of cirrus clouds, and the rest of the sky is as clear as anything.
Yeah, but they've rented a big rain machine, so it's raining.
It's a fire engine.
Everyone except Victor has black umbrellas, because that's just funeral stuff. You have to have that.
But that's fine, because he's got a hat.
Yeah.
He's got a hat on.
His hat is...
And he has a raincoat.
It's tilted to make sure that the rain runs off it and straight into the large river that runs next to his house. That's how he has his hat. Clearly, that's the only reason you would tilt your hat to that absurd angle.
It's... but that's when you look at when you hold up a protractor to somebody's head to measure the angle of hat,
as we so often do,
yes, that you get beyond 45 degrees. There's about 54 degrees. It just says jaunty. Right, that's the angle. So you either wear it jaunty to the right. If you've got a European one, you can have it jaunty to the left as well. Yeah. Or it's not even a rakish. Rakish angle is about 35 degrees.
So it's well beyond rakish.
It's way down towards jaunty. Yeah. It's almost verging on the ridiculous.
This hat laughs at rakish.
Yeah. But he's also got a raincoat, except
he's not wearing
it's over his bloody arm. Yeah. It's over his arm. And
probably because he looked at the sky and thought, it's obviously not going to rain for days. It's clearly fine, so I won't put my raincoat on.
Yeah.
And we caught him just as it started to piss down.
I did meet the brother of the singer in the Outbursts, and who is a championship sailing captain. He wins often the round the island Isle of Wight race with his boat, which I think is called
That's
Stan.
important, that.
Yeah, you're not just himself. He just doesn't just break into a run and go around the coast. No, it's it's not that kind of race. You need a boat. Carrying a boat, surely it'd be much easier to put the boat in the water, get on the boat. And so finally he sorted that out. And we were at the Isle of Wight Festival looking at the sky, and he said, "No, it'll be fine. It's going the other way." 20 minutes later, it was throwing it down. And I said, "Remind me never to go sailing with you." That's right. That's why he's the captain, not the first mate. He just stands there, and the first mate did point out that, what do you do when you get orders from him? He said, "I ignore them entirely and do the opposite." And right. So that's how you win. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get a little bit of a kind of pan around all the people who've come to the funeral just to make sure that we remember them later on in the film.
Yeah.
Because everyone here at the funeral is a character in the film from this point on. I don't think there's any other people there at all.
No.
And so, they just drop the coffin in the hole and everyone fucks off inside.
We get
except Victor.
We get a flashback. There's another flashback in there. And amongst all the water, there's some flames, and Control, the guy,
the head,
turns out to be Control. As. All right, the head.
The head
says, "You did what you had to do," and you go, "All right, okay, fine, yeah,
yeah." This is Patrick Bergin, incidentally, who was acted before. You would not know it from this film.
Right.
But he was in Sleeping with the Enemy with Eric's sister Julia. He's been in proper films. I mean, I wonder if maybe they paid him a bit extra to tone down the acting so that he wouldn't make everyone else look bad.
Right.
That's the only explanation I've been able to come up with.
Find. Yeah.
Because he's. I mean, I think phoning it in would be really quite generous to describe his performance.
Right.
He couldn't give a shit at any point about anything he's saying.
No.
He's there because I don't know, there's catering, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's not...
Because he didn't get cast in the Banshee TV show. And he's a bit miffed at the whole thing. Yes. I mean, if I had to rank all of the actors in the film, he'd be above Michael Flatley. Right.
But he wouldn't be in the top few actors, and that's saying something in this film.
Wow. Yeah. God, yeah.
So...
Blimey. And then, weirdly, Flatley says... Yeah, and he's talking to the head and says, "Yeah, thanks for coming." And his hat is fairly dry, and then it cuts to the head.
Except he doesn't say thanks for coming; he just kind of grunts because we don't get a line of dialogue from him for 13 minutes. Right?
And then the other guy goes, "I'll see you inside." And then we cut back to Flatley, and his hat is tipping it. That's a torrent running off. It's a cascade off the brim, and I'm still thinking, "Put your fucking raincoat on." So it was too late now because you're soaked to the skin. Yeah.
I described that as Victor turns his head and an entire bucket of water drips off his jaunty angled hat.
Yes. Exactly that. Yes.
Then we get another flashback to the fire and Victor clenching his teeth. And I put it'll take a while for this to play out. So inside the bar area, the drawing room, whatever, of the house. There's someone playing some kind of Irish bagpipe thing, and there's
and it's not
not to anyone, or he's just kind of sitting twiddling on a sofa.
Yeah, and he's kind of he's doing it like really sad. It's like squeezing the bagpipe, and you think, at some point, surely he must have inflated that. But did we not get to see that bit?
No.
So,
Not for sad songs. You only get the inflating bit for happy songs. So
yeah.
But the head says to the others, the gathered people, I'm worried about him. I just don't know what he's going to do next. There's no one like him. He's irreplaceable. No one can do what he does.
Exactly. And then I kind of went off into a big rant there.
I actually put quite a lot more effort into that than he did.
That was very good. Yes, exactly. I was quite convinced there. I was sort of terrified. I was convinced that actually he does know stuff that other people don't. Well, he can do things that others can't. And he can't.
What?
Turns out he can't do much.
There is no point in the film where we will get even the slightest indication of what it is he can do that no one else can do.
No one else can do. So I came to the conclusion that what he does that nobody else can do is nothing.
Yeah. Everyone else could do stuff. What he does is stop people doing stuff. So, and you kind of think, as the head of some kind of secret agency called maybe the Chieftains, you want to be doing stuff rather than not doing stuff. Yeah.
So
presumably this is how we know that he's changed so much since the time that he was running the Chieftains. Because, they now toast to the Chieftains, or Chieftains to the end. We won't learn this for a while.
We're not talking about the folk
no,
group
not
that
the
wore
folk
Aaron sweaters.
No. Although you wouldn't
Dublin.
know at the moment. No. And for a while, you won't learn. I mean, I'm going to have to continually spoil this film, obviously. That's kind of our job. But I will have to keep telling you stuff that you won't actually find out at this point in the film, because otherwise it's going to be hard to talk about. But the Chieftains, you will eventually learn, are an elite group of secret agents connected to an agency, an unsaid agency, probably MI5, MI6, one of them probably, in London. And the head is, by implication, the person who runs the agency. And Flatley and all of the other people at the funeral are members of the chieftains.
Yes.
So, as with all elite groups of secret agents, this team has a mix of different skills which complement each other, meaning that they have to work as a team, and whatever problems come up on a mission, one of them is a specialist in it, just like, Mission Impossible, where Luther's good at the technical stuff and whatever. They all have their own kind of specific set of skills that the others can't do, and they couldn't complete a mission without all of them being together. And that's why you need this group, and it's not just one person. You don't just get Ethan Hunt on his own doing it all. He has to have the team,
or even Helen Mirren in Red.
Yeah.
You need
that's the reason for having a team of agents, a team of supportive people to be able to carry out a mission. So in this group, the people in the chieftains, the members of the chieftains, are Victor, who we've met, Michael Flatley, who does something that no one else can.
No one else can. Yeah.
Tony, who is that's the name of the bartender.
Oh, okay.
He's currently tending bar in this. He will continue to tend bar. That is his thing. That's his skill. Because you need, in your elite group of secret agents, someone to pour the drinks.
Yes. And say, what do you think he's going to do next in a Ron Weasley kind of way?
Yeah. We will learn his name, Tony, only by process of elimination, because we've learned everyone else's names in the film at that point. 73 minutes in. He matters
so he doesn't
so
full
little
name him
to this film. He doesn't get a name.
Though he does seem to get a lot of words and a lot of kind of portentous nodding.
The nodding I'll give you, but I did a count, a line count, because I was like, why is he in this film?
Because he's the only one that knows how to mix the drinks.
When the head asks, I don't know what he's going to do next, and they all I don't know. Mm-hmm. Tony says, what do you think he is going to do next?
Yeah.
That is the only line he will say on camera in the film.
Yeah.
There are other lines that are probably spoken by him, but it's always he's always off camera.
Yeah, and they've had his reported speech from someone else. Yeah.
So either, he can't act when the camera's looking at him. He can't say words when the camera. I don't know how many takes they had to do to get this one. I don't know why
they chose him specially over the rest of them, because none of them can act when the camera is rolling.
But imagine you've seen him what they were like. He was much worse than that. This was the only line they could actually take the time to have enough takes to get him to be able to say it while the camera was rolling and facing him.
Yeah.
Every other line he has, he's off screen, and he's got 4 other lines.
I expect that to pretend go. Okay, so we'll just call it a rehearsal, and they managed to catch him not cocking it up. But to his secret skills, he's the only one that can mix the drinks.
Yeah, he knows how to make a Cuba Libre.
But he doesn't do any mixing. He just pours stuff out of one glass receptacle into a smaller glass receptacle.
Yeah.
So that people don't look like drunkards.
But it's very important to have that person on your secret agent team.
And you've got to take him wherever you go in the world.
Everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Because you can't just find a local who is able to pour a drink.
Pour a drink from one glass receptacle
famously
into another.
no people in Barbados who are able to just pour a drink.
No, you've got to bring your.
You need a specially trained
all the way
secret agent, bartender, member of the chieftains,
who
is able to do that. So so that's Tony.
Right.
We have Kaz, who is a woman. That's her. That's all she has no abilities whatsoever, or will display any.
She has an ability to not age one iota.
All of them have that one. That's a thing they share. They can get 10 years older and look exactly the same as they did in the previous scene.
Yeah.
So
I think Nick looks a bit worse for by virtue of the fact that they don't give him a tie after this.
Kaz, we don't learn her name until minute 20. Nick, his special skills are he's Irish and crumpled. And we'll learn his name 22 minutes in.
Right. Right. Yeah.
We have Matiti, who is black. Yeah. That's his thing.
Yeah. And he's a loyal soldier.
I mean, that's one of the things he'll be called. Yes.
He's also
he does most of the talking.
He does. Yeah.
He has more lines probably than anyone else.
Sufficient that at some point Kaz has to hand him the phone.
Yeah.
So that he can have a conversation.
He can't. He's no good at picking up or putting down phones.
No,
great at talking. He could do the talking bit.
Yeah.
He needs a bit of help with the mechanics.
That's his skill. Kaz does the mechanics. She will use the telephone.
She can pick up and put down a phone like anyone.
Yeah. Well, not like him.
No, not like him. Not like Matiti.
Like nobody else. Like no, she can. This is the one thing that she can do that nobody else can. So Tony lifts up big glass things, and pours the contents into little glass things. She picks up strangely anachronistic Bakelite telephones, rotary telephones.
Because this is I should have. I can't believe we haven't mentioned it already. For some reason, while everything else in this film universe appears to be our own universe, this is a world where cell phones don't exist.
No.
It won't ever be mentioned. But we never see a cell phone in this film.
Push button phones don't exist.
They do have. They're one of the anachronistic black Bakelite phones is a push button one.
Right. Yeah.
Several others are rotary ones, and there's a working phone box in London, which is the most ridiculous thing in this film. But there's no cell phones.
Yes.
Not one.
Yeah.
So it's never mentioned. It's just a weird thing about the film. I guess Flatley either doesn't know phones exist or doesn't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked out. And his kids are going, oh, for Christ's sake, Dad, just press any key. Press any key. I don't have an any key. Yeah.
So, finally, the final member of the Chieftains is Vivian, who is going to be gone for a bit in this. Yeah. So I originally put who will not be appearing in this film for a little while. Yes. We will learn her name 25 minutes in. So at the moment, it's going to be a while before we know who any of these people are. But what we do know about them, in fact, we know they're chieftains. We don't know what the chieftains are yet, so we haven't learned that bit yet. Yeah. But we know that these are all part of a very specific group which has a name. Yeah. And they're closely bonded by that.
Yes,
this group,
and they've got a little saying as well.
Yeah.
They which is to the end.
To the end.
They propose to go to the end.
Yeah,
because it sounds like this is the end. Because he's off and nobody knows what's going to happen.
Well, and that's the thing. Because first of all, I want you to remember that Kaz and Vivian are both members of this group. They are both in this room together. They've presumably worked together for years to get to this point of important bonding that has made them the part of this group, the Chieftains. Grace, who is the dead one, presumably was also one of the Chieftains. Maybe not. It's hard to say. It's not ever really particularly clear, but she's dead, so it doesn't matter. I don't think Madeline, who was the only other character who will matter later on, is one.
No.
I don't think she's at the funeral.
She's just a sexy Bayesian singer.
Yeah, if she was... Bayesian. Well, Irish from Belfast, West Belfast, but but she's in Barbados, But if she was a member of the Chieftains, she'd be about 15 at this point because she's still very young. 10 years later,
they're all the women are far too young.
Yes,
for Flatley.
Yeah, basically. Vivian,
25 years,
the blonde one. Watches Victor walk away from the window.
Because what we find out is we find out what do you think he's going to do next, and what he does going to do next is some more face acting.
Yeah,
and then he walks off like Noel Coward in the rain with a bit of a limp and a cane.
Yeah.
So we don't get any idea as to why he's still not wearing the fucking raincoat.
No, he's still got. It's still pissing with rain.
Yeah.
But
we then get a little moment.
Overcoat.
So we don't know what direction. I'm trying to work out again the geography of where the fuck he is. We get a little moment. So away from the chieftains who are all toasting the chieftains to the end at the bar with Tony, the man that knows how to have a drink. Vivian doesn't have a drink. She's at the window.
Yeah.
Kind of there's a little moment between two young for him blonde women looking out the window at him and him looking back. You know, yeah, way to go, girl. Make a play for him at the funeral of the previous two young for him dark-haired women. Yeah, that's the moment to kind of, she touches the window pane and then he looks at her, she looks at him, and you go, at the funeral? Really? Jesus Christ. So then the head, or control, have I got written up?
Yeah, the head.
The head, he comes up to Vivian, puts his hand on her shoulder and reassures her, said, don't worry, he's one of us. You go, what?
Yeah, he's clearly one of this specific elite group.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Don't worry,
he's one of us.
Yeah.
Because it prompted me to respond out loud with the double entendre from the Goon Show in the 1950s. Oh, I thought he was one of them.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm one of us. No, mate, I'm one of us. Yeah. I thought you were one of us. No, mate, I'm one of them. Yeah.
So then we get the title, Blackbird, on screen.
Oh, yeah. But before I was going to stop you there, because he doesn't come to the house.
No, he doesn't. Didn't we say that? I thought we said he walked off.
Yeah, he walks up, but then we get.
He didn't say, "I'll see you back at the house." That's the thing. That's why you thought he was going back to the house.
Yes,
he just grunted.
Oh, okay.
And he grunted in Irish.
So even okay. But he doesn't go. So he doesn't do that.
No, he just walks off.
He limps off down the path, straight through. He's still not wearing the fucking raincoat. Straight through the puddle and the spray from the fire hose being fired at him off screen, right into the sunset.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a gorgeous evening, but it's just chucking it down right there.
Yeah, it's very localized storm.
Very localized, and then it fades to black, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's not your usual Bond pre-title sequence, is it?
Yeah, and then we get title Blackbird. So we're 6 minutes in now to the film.
Yeah.
55 words of dialogue have so far been spoken. so it's not a talky film so far.
No.
Lots of looks. That's what the script basically can't have been more than 2 A4 pages stapled together, can it? I mean,
it's probably lots of TBA. Yeah. So we'll work it out. Be fine. It'll be fine. As directed. Well, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yes. And you think, well, okay, am I pulled in sufficient? Is it filled with intrigue and portent to draw me in this first pre-title sequence?
Well, if it was, then you're out of luck, because immediately it's 10 years later.
Yeah. we get an aerial shot of Big Ben, so we know we're in London.
Yeah.
Big Ben is showing 5 minutes to 10. But we get the chime of a quarter hour. We get the bing bong, which is quarter past.
It's like they don't even care.
I'm suspecting this is just a shortcut sound division in case you wonder where we were. We're in London. Yeah. And there's the London Eye and the neon lights and stuff. So it looks like we're in modern times.
Yeah. This confused me for a while.
Yeah.
So we don't straight away get the London Eye, I don't think. I could be wrong. But initially what I focused on, at least in that opening establishing shot, was Big Ben.
Yeah.
And then we cut to
5 to 10.
Then we cut to someone's someone in a car.
Yeah, we hear a voice. Well, we hear a voiceover.
We see a car.
Central casting, Central Arabic voice saying, "Can I count on you?" And then we see him saying, "Are you sure you can deliver?" Apparently to Ai Weiwei, who's sitting next to him.
Yeah, I mean, we don't...
Guest starring as an ambassador,
we don't know,
it turns out later.
First of all, yeah, we don't know who these people are at all.
No.
But
one of them's, can I count on you?
Yeah.
Will you be able to deliver?
Yeah. So the other person says nothing and gets out of the car.
Yeah. And that
we won't see either of them for a while.
Menacing nodding going on. So you think, okay, so Ai Weiwei has got to get out and go deliver something. All right, fair enough. So, and delivering what and to where?
Well, is he... what? I mean, do you think he's talking literally when he says, can I count on you to deliver? Because I didn't read that into it. I thought, I don't know. I just thought, deliver means do what you're supposed to do, right?
Right.
I think you're right now that you said that. I would never have got that. I would not... He's not like a, Just Eat driver. I didn't know that he was supposed to deliver. I didn't connect this to the subsequent scene. Now it makes sense now that you've said he's off to deliver something.
Yeah.
Because why would you use that? I mean, yes, admittedly, deliver does mean that, but it also means lots of other stuff. Yeah. And the menacing way in which he says it.
And that gets used elsewhere yes, exactly. And that same deliver gets used a lot elsewhere. And I think it's, but we're not clear because, so my question is...
Well, none of this is clear.
Delivering what?
This whole section of the film, there's no way of knowing what side any of these people are on.
No, what the fuck's happening?
If any of them are good or bad or what they're doing or what's happening... Yeah. And later on, when you find out what the MacGuffin is that is being moved around here, it won't make it any clearer.
No, doesn't help at all. That's all. It all kind of all of those words that we haven't used yet because we've only used 55 of them so far. Suddenly, there's an outpouring of words later on. Yeah. Because we've seen all of this happen.
We've got a lot of exposition all in one go.
Yeah. Oh God, it's awful. So my question was, what is he delivering and to where? And because then we cut to an office somewhere in the 1950s with a man stuffing. Because what you do when you're in a government office is you're constantly stuffing stuff into a shredding machine.
That doesn't appear to be on.
No.
Is it like a manual feed shredder? Is that a thing? Can you have ones where you
sheet at a time?
Yeah. Are there shredders where as you push the thing in, it just gets shredded without any kind of motor or revolving blades or anything? It's just like the action of shoving the paper in somehow shreds it.
Yeah. I
think
that's
one of those old
Banksy used on one
machines.
Of his pictures.
Like my mum used to have a thing for green beans, like runner beans.
Yes.
Where you'd clip the top off and shove the bean through a series of blades.
Yeah.
To make them edible when you boil them.
Was it a K-Tel Ronco Perfect Christmas gift?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm guessing that's how this shredder works, because it's not making any noise, and clearly this is, I don't think they had electric shredders when this scene is clearly set, because the man is in, shirt sleeves and suspenders.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of lamp-lit office lined with paper box files, and with a clearly an old rotary-style black landline phone on his desk.
Yeah, and those kind of lamps that only illuminate a kind of triangle of light in the mist. And when we do get a shot of the door, which is one of those half-glass doors, and I was fully expecting Marlowe in Private Investigation backwards to be printed on it. Yeah.
Yeah, when the dame came up to the window.
Exactly, yeah. I knew she was the right kind of business. Yeah.
But so if you don't look slightly to the right and see that he has a modern computer and monitor, everything else, everything that is illuminated by the lamps in this room makes absolutely sure that this is a 50s London civil servant.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute. If this is 10 years later, when was the funeral set? And then I remembered this is Flatley's childhood, so it's somewhere about 1858 or something. Yeah.
Basically, they didn't have plugging the shredder in money. They spent all that on Eric Roberts, so they couldn't afford the electricity to actually run the shredder or buy a sound effect.
I think
it could just be a big black
toaster.
box. Yeah,
with a slot in it.
Yeah.
We know, we've made props before. We know how to do that. You add the noise in afterwards. It reminds me of there used to be an advert, probably for Carlsberg, where there was a telephone going behind a door, and a guy's passing by down the corridor in the office, and he opens the door, and it's exactly like this office. It's got mid-century furniture and all that kind of stuff. And he answers an old Bakelite phone, and it says complaints department, and he picks it up, and of course the gag is it's a wrong number, so he puts it down. So it's never been used since the 50s, and that's what this office is. And the guy is kind of sweating. And the phone goes.
Yeah, he's not kind of sweating. He's sweating like Ted Stryker in Airplane.
Like Flatley's hat.
Yeah.
He's sweating.
Sweat is pouring off this man.
So something's happening.
That's why his shredder isn't working.
Because
this water's got into the electrics.
Yeah. So, and the phone goes, and he picks up the phone. Incidentally, his watch says 8:45. So even though we've gone past 5 to 10 and a quarter past the hour, his watch is saying 8:45.
Well, we went forward 10 years and then back a bit because we've gone a little bit too far.
Yeah. Well,
back like half an hour.
And then it says the contact on the phone. This is the phone. Says the contact will be at St James's Church.
Yeah, Ted doesn't ask which St James's Church, because there's so many St James's churches in London. So he presumably knows that.
Yeah, the one he goes to isn't St James's Church.
No. So he sweats a bit more, and then somehow hears someone coming before there's any kind of sound effect of anyone coming.
Yeah.
You'd think they could have done a little kind of bit of Foley of footsteps outside the door.
Footsteps outside the door, and then a door handle.
But no. He's like, what's that? Kind of over his shoulder and picking up a letter opener as a weapon and hiding. Then we hear sound effects.
I think it's Ai Weiwei.
I think you're right. Yeah, now I think you're right. I had no clue what was going on here.
Because it's one of those weird offices from the 1940s where there's a step down into the office.
Yeah.
So the guy through the half-glass window that ought to say Philip Marlowe is a lot bigger than Ai Weiwei was when he got out of the car 30 years in the future. So he tries the door. It doesn't knock on the window. It doesn't go hello because there's lights on.
Yeah.
Hello, I've got the package for you. Here it is, just to make sure you've got it. Doesn't do any of that. He shoves it under it's a fucking terrible draft in that office. Shoves it under this enormous gap under the door. And then the guy picks it up. It's an envelope. Guy picks it up. He's got a letter open in his hand. He tears the envelope open with his fingers.
Yeah. But so the thing is, if assuming you're right now about the thing that I missed completely, and that was in fact the same guy delivering this thing.
Yeah.
First of all, he didn't do a great job of delivering it. He got it there. He got it essentially. If he had knocked on the door and the guy had opened, the same thing would have happened with the thing. Yeah. The guy would still have the thing, and the guy has the thing now.
Yeah.
Which makes what happens to him later more confusing to me now. Before,
I was hoping you were going to clarify
when I wasn't sure what he was supposed to deliver or to whom, because I didn't deliver literally. Yes. When it was just like, are you going to be able to make this happen?
Right.
Later on, when he's being brutally tortured, I assumed he just hadn't been able to make the thing happen.
Yeah.
But he did deliver this thing.
I don't know what the thing.
Why are they so upset with him?
They're really upset.
They're very upset, and frankly, he did his job. The guy didn't say, get me a signature or something, or deliver it to him and then make sure he doesn't get it stolen from him or anything like that.
Yes, or make sure he doesn't give it away.
Yeah,
in
deliver
the process
it to
of
him.
escaping from hoodlums that are after him.
Why is he so upset? That's all I will have that question later.
Yeah. And then we cut to the Hackney Wick bus number 26 crossing Waterloo Bridge south to north.
Yeah.
Which is kind of important because it's nowhere near where he ends up. Yeah.
I mean, but then he knows which of the at least 10 St James's churches there are in London, and heads over the Thames. And at the church, we see now inside the church, which isn't St James's Church, a very small, a small, very well dressed boy lighting a votive candle. Yeah. We see several shots of this boy.
Probably a Catholic church then.
Oh, definitely a Catholic church. There's nuns and everything.
Yeah.
And we'll see several shots of this boy, despite the fact he'll never matter or be seen again once he leaves the church. And this is because it is, as you predicted, Michael Flatley's son.
There you go.
Michael St James Flatley.
Ah.
In case you're wondering why they chose St James, you see, for the church, that's probably why. St James is his favourite child middle name and church name. And works equally for both.
Or something.
No, see, that's St John. St John is
John.
So I did think that when I wrote it down. Is there a? I think it must just be Michael St James, but that's his name. Okay. Standing next to him,
could be St Michael.
Standing next to him is someone who is credited.
Clothing label.
Yeah, is credited as Nancy Booth.
Right,
but looks very, very much like Michael Flatley's wife, Neve. Maybe it isn't her, and there is an actress called Nancy Booth. I haven't been able to find one, but maybe for some reason they thought, unless we pick someone who looks almost identical to Michael St James Flatley's actual mother, no one is going to be convinced by anything we do in this film because they'll think that doesn't look like that child's mother. So they picked someone who could pass for Flatley's wife.
Right.
And they light a candle. Meanwhile,
back in the on Waterloo Bridge,
Sweaty Ted.
We do see Sweaty Ted. We do see the London Eye at that point. So we are.
So now
we're
again,
transported 40
it's definitely
years into
modern times again.
Yeah. And it's sufficiently modern that he can't outrun. He can't possibly break into a run.
No.
And escape from the three heavies who are walking after him in step. Nor can they break into a run and grab him.
They are. If they had started river dancing, I would not have been shocked.
Been surprised. Well, they're amateurs because their arms are moving. But I think that it's sufficiently quiet. And late at night, it's somewhere between 9:15 and 10:15. And nobody's around, and the bus has gone by, and they could have just jumped him.
Oh, yeah.
They could have broken into a run and grabbed him.
Or he could have run away. I feel like I've seen people running in London and haven't been that suspicious of them.
Yeah.
I think, But no, he walks fast.
He could have run for the bus, ostensibly.
I mean, he's already sweaty. That might kill him. But
true.
So he goes to the church. He manages to make it to the church because they're only walking quite fast behind him.
Yeah, and they can't get out of step.
No,
that'd be awful.
and he meets a nun in the church, and I'm going to spoil it for a few minutes in the future and say that this is his contact. She's not a real nun.
Right.
The bad guys aren't there yet, so he could. Just give her the thing. The little SIM card that he got in an envelope.
Yeah. The hollow coin.
Yeah. That would be not that suspicious. If you kind of grab if you were in a Catholic church, I admit I haven't spent a huge amount of time in Catholic churches, but I feel like if you kind of...
That's because you got thrown out for kissing nuns.
Exactly. But if you kind of grabbed a nun by the hands and kind of pleaded with her for something, I think that people would think, oh, okay, fine, a bit weird, but and you could, in that instance, like those cool people who give people like a folded up dollar bill in a handshake, as a kind of tip, probably more than a dollar bill these days. But like that, you could hand it off. No one would think anything of it.
Yeah,
especially since the bad guys aren't there and wouldn't see who he'd handed it off to. But instead, he kisses the nun. Yeah. Because that isn't suspicious.
No. But I think also, actually, that's it's a precursor for way later to show Flatley this is how you actually kiss a woman. This is what you do. This is what you do. You just do this. You know, you don't do what Flatley does, which is some sort of wrestle hold, because he's never kissed a woman in his life. Christ knows how he managed to get children, but you know, perhaps they don't. I
mean, he is Catholic, so
that'll be it.
Only needed to happen once. Anyway, but so he kisses the nun and then runs off. Two other nuns look shocked. They presumably don't know this nun since she's not a real nun. And then he goes out the back door of the church and is now on Strand Lane. Yeah, which is not
contain a church.
Not the back of a church. No, not sure why they conspicuously included the sign.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Why not change the sign to St James's Lane? It's not like you haven't got $3 million. You could just make. We've made signs.
They had to buy a shredder. They couldn't. Just,
yeah. Bloody Eric Roberts costing too much.
They did put a sign on the door that isn't there in real life.
Yeah,
saying like,
because there isn't a church.
Go
Please
around
leave
the
church
back
quietly.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Use the front door.
Yeah.
God doesn't like people coming in the back door. Use the front door.
So and
Strand Lane for those geographically challenged people runs alongside King's College in London.
It's actually part of King's College. It's a private. It's a private lane that is part of their kind of
over from Somerset House. If you're looking for clues, but it's and so he runs down there, and I'm sure he breaks all the rules. They run out of screen right, and they come in screen left. Yeah. It's all horror. It's not the third
does he
man.
Really run?
Not really. Not until it gets to the dead end.
He ambles a bit.
There.
Yeah. And then he looks back to make sure that they're still following him, like you would if you were showing someone the way somewhere. And you wanted to make sure they didn't get left behind.
You go.
He looks back. Yeah.
Going over here, going this way. Yeah.
They don't come out of that door.
No.
So they found a different way out of the church, but still managed to find him. Yeah. But again, they don't run. They just kind of come round the corner a bit.
Even though they followed him, like they pushed past the nun and followed him out. They turned right at the nave. Did we ever discover which church it actually is?
I looked, but I couldn't figure it out. No, I wasn't able to identify it. But I did look at several St James's churches, and it wasn't any of them.
They are lovely, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, and many of them designed by Christopher Wren. And also the nearest church to Strand Lane, incidentally, is St Clement's, also designed by Christopher Wren, which features in Oranges and Lemons at the bells of St Clement's. There you go.
Yeah. So you know how their bells sound, then.
Yeah. And so he runs up some steps which look like they belong to an underground station. Obviously, that's a deleted scene. And then ends up at the end of a lane with a dead end, which isn't there in Strand Lane. And meanwhile...
Are we thinking he's probably a spy? I don't know. Or just a civil servant, or what? I mean, it's not clear. We'll never know. Clear. It'll never matter. If he is a spy, he's a shit one. He didn't think. Yeah. He doesn't know dead ends.
He just becomes man later on in a news report.
Yes,
on this incident.
Yeah, they don't even call him Sweaty Ted.
No, Sweaty Ted caught mid-shred. Yeah, left for dead. Yeah, they could have done all of that. Yeah. But no.
Yeah, so they
the usual things like I was thinking West Side Story. I would be up and over that fence. Wouldn't just stop at going, oh no,
but he's like, oh, this is quite high. I'm not going to try climbing this. I'll just die instead.
And oh no, it's a private lane. Why am I expecting it to be unlocked? Yeah, it's not like a fire exit or anything. Yeah.
So the bad guys, the three river dancing bad guys, they approach him now that he's trapped and shout something not in English, which sounds like El de Bev, Hi Diddy, Hey Diddy Ben. That's all I could transcribe of it.
Yeah.
They almost went, do what did he do,
Dumb did he
but
do.
not quite. And then one of them, realizing presumably that this guy doesn't speak Bay City Rollers, is that? No, that's not. That's not there. Anyway,
that's
what was it? Manfred Mann.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
don't speak back because he hasn't got a weird chin beard with no moustache.
Yeah.
Like Manfred Mann. Yeah.
So he doesn't speak that. So they transition into English.
Yeah.
And he says, "The hollow coin, where is it?"
Yeah.
So that now we know is what they're calling this thing. No one else will ever refer to it like that.
No.
So this doesn't help if you're trying to follow the... Yeah. It's basically a little round SIM card type thing. It might be the kind of like a tiny CD type thing.
Tiny CD kind of thing, yeah.
It's not
like
clear.
That, isn't it?
Not clear
It's
how
hollow.
you would read
I
it.
expect it.
No, it's not hollow.
Yeah.
Might have a hole in the middle.
It's
like a tiny record.
Make it hollow? Yeah. Does that make it hollow?
I don't know. I wouldn't say so.
Like a donut? No. Are donuts hollow? Ring donuts, are they hollow? No, because you think, well, they are because they're kind of pumped up, but the ring itself, anyway.
Anyway,
that's what they call this kind of newfangled technology in Bakelite spy world.
Yeah,
it's a hollow coin.
Hollow coin. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says cleverly to try and throw them off the scent.
Yeah.
It's probably in his hands already.
Yeah. Hence my question. I had so many questions at this point. Amongst them were, whose hands?
Well, yeah, we'll never know that.
Who are the baddies? And is Ai Weiwei the goodie?
I don't know. That's the thing.
That guy,
is this guy a goodie?
Saying,
are these guys
deliver? What are they speaking? And there seem to be three. It's like a Welshman, an Irishman, and a. It's like a pub joke, isn't it? Yeah.
We will never know who any of these people are.
What's he speaking? Is it Arabic again? Is it in Flatley's spy world?
It's just is it? I mean, maybe it's just coincidence that they're both of Arabic origin. Him and the other guy who was telling the person to deliver it to him. Yeah. And if he was telling him to deliver it to him, why didn't he just say, "Give it to me"? Because it seems like he wants it at the end. Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really feels like he wants it.
And if all that was involved was actually knocking on Philip Marlowe's door, and saying, "Here's the parcel to take to the contact,"
to the nun,
to the nun in St James. Surely the guy that drove Ai Weiwei there,
just give that to the fucking nun, or to the guy in the car that the nun hands it off to later. Just drive the sports car next to the one where the two people who we'll barely ever see again were. Give it to them there.
Yeah, I suspect.
Why does it need to go through this rigmarole? And it seems like it's getting back to eventually the same guy, the guy who was threatening him.
Gave it to Ai Weiwei in the first place.
He seems to really want it at the end. He goes to some amount. If that's the same guy, I think it's the same guy. If it isn't, I'm very confused. But I think that's the same guy at the end who goes to a lot of trouble to get hold of this thing again.
Yes, and goes through several other people to get Eric Roberts to deliver it.
So I'm beginning to think...
Is this Ahmed?
No, Ahmed is... I think this is Farouk. Right. Ahmed is Farouk's underling.
Delivery boy.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the guy who said, "Can you deliver?" is Farouk. But I also think that Farouk is the one at the end who really, really wants this thing. Which nothing else has happened to it. No. Other than
it's been duplicated.
It's been, but not by him. So,
so he had
why didn't he hang on to it?
Why didn't he just say, "Can you deliver?" "Yes, I can." "Right, okay, Ai Weiwei, give me the envelope with it in now, because that's the thing I want." Yeah, it's gone through a series of different people to get back to eventually the same guy who had it in the first place. Well, no,
And
even if he didn't have
along the way, it's
he had the
vitally
guy in
important
the
he
car
doesn't get
with
it.
it. Yes,
Multiple people die to get this back to him.
When even if he didn't have it,
No, he was there. He was sat next to the guy.
He was, we don't know that he gave it to Ai Weiwei in order for Ai Weiwei to go deliver it. So who's he delivering it to? If Ahmed the Farouk is the guy that ultimately wants it,
it will never become clear. But the thing is, I think we're making it sound like this is a complicated plot. It's not. No, it could not be a more subplot. Simple plot. The plot itself, which we will come to eventually, it's the stupidest, most basic. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's the kind of thing when you're 12 and being a secret agent in the woods with your friends, you'd be like, all right, well, this guy just wants to blow up the world, or whatever. We've got to stop him. It's that simple. Yeah. And in order for it not to be so ridiculously simple, they've had to send this MacGuffin through 6 different people. Yeah. And again, at no point is it clear which ones of them are good guys or bad guys. No. Or why they're doing it.
The last Bond film, so Daniel Craig David's last Bond movie. I mean, it was a preposterous bloody thing because it was tying up the whole of Schmersh and Spectre and all that Schmersh that was carry on spying. It ties all that up, but fundamentally, the guy wants to, as ever, blow California off the face of the earth or whatever. There's always, from the outset, something's going to happen. There will be a countdown, and Bond will get there just as it hits 0007 seconds and defuse the bomb, having flipped a couple of Aston Martins on the way. That we know how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I would say No Time to Die isn't the best example of a coherent bad guy plot.
But they don't, because it's a long story arc. Yeah, but they don't compromise each time. We know how it's going to play out. Yeah. Christopher Walken wants to blow California off because he's bought all the stuff along the San Andreas fault, and Grace
Gert Frobe wants to destroy Fort Knox so that his gold reserves become more valuable.
Yeah, all of that. Yes. And somebody wants to blow up the space station and blah 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 blah. All that, we know that, and yet they take pains to make it easy to understand each and every time. So when you are 12 and you watch this stuff and you come back and you play James Bond, and you've got guns hidden inside books and secret messages and things tucked inside your shirt and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, lemon juice and a candle.
Yeah, yes. The only things that are important are the intrigues of handing up, because you don't understand what's going on. Yeah. You don't know how simple it is, really. It's all the little intrigues in between and all the, and then you straighten your tie and make it looks like he's dead. And you make a little quip and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was a big part of me playing either James Bond or the A-Team or whatever kind of hero thing was coming up with a good quip to say after you've killed someone. Mm-hmm. A good line. Yeah.
And that's
very important. Very important.
It's all the incidental stuff. So all of this stuff, which it's quite nicely shot. It's standard stuff. It has nothing doesn't further the plot at all. It's just the confused ramblings of a 12-year-old ex-river dancer going, oh yeah, well, we've got to have people doing this stuff and we've got to have
it's got to be spycraft
dressed. Yes, we've got to have all of that. We've got to have microdots and coins in the back of briefcases and codes and all that kind of shit, which there are briefcases. There are briefcases with boxes and things, and and there's a little bit of tension where you think, oh, is he going to find out he's missing? And it's just bollocks. There's no. as I was going through, I was doing my usual things. Is there any way of editing this to make
no way,
more sensible?
No, I mean, you could maybe make like a 3 or 4 minute short.
Yes.
That might.
Yes.
I mean, it'd still be shit.
You'd have,
but it might make sense.
But you'd have to add a lot more.
Or you could make quite a nice Barbadian travelogue.
Yeah. or an advert for the island of Ireland. Yeah. With Enya. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. And it's just, but it certainly doesn't warrant what happens to Ai Weiwei. All this stuff.
No.
He's quite clearly going, wait
did everything right.
Just hang on. We're assuming that Farouk, who's now overseeing the torture of him, we're assuming that Farouk was in the car and knew that Ai Weiwei had the envelope.
Why would he's the one telling him to deliver it.
Yes.
If he was getting out to get it.
Maybe, yes, exactly. He was
then he would have just said, get it, bring it back here.
Yeah, exactly. That will save all this nonsense. It will save an hour and 25 minutes.
I've just thought of a way that you could, if you could find if you could track these actors down and get them to film a bit of an extra couple of scenes.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Right. Ai Weiwei.
Yeah.
Wasn't supposed to give it to the Ted Striker.
Yeah.
Sweaty Ted.
Yeah.
He was supposed to deliver it. He was supposed to get the thing and deliver it to Farouk. But instead he got the thing and he delivered it to Sweaty Ted. And that's why he's being brutally tortured. And that's why the Farouk's men have chased Sweaty Ted to get the thing back. Because they found... that would make sense, maybe.
Yes.
It's still... The nun and the guy in the sports car still don't make any sense. But... But if you added in a couple of extra scenes showing him betraying Farouk, yes, that would tie a couple of things together.
That's what's lacking. Yes,
and so maybe it was cut for time because this is. They wanted to keep it to a tight 82 minutes plus credits.
Yeah. But they've used up so much time with these brooding looks that they've had to cut the other scenes. Yeah,
I mean I got in my notes a bit later on where like this was shit. They could have just cut that bit out and that. So I've suggested some trims they could have made.
So who is the he that he's handing it off to? Is he handing it off to?
Eric
Roberts?
Sweaty
Ted.
Sweaty Ted gave it to the nun, kissed the nun with it in his mouth.
She was the contact.
She was the contact who he got called about.
Yes.
And we haven't got to the bit where she hands it off yet. So as far as at the moment she's got it.
So what he's doing is the reason he was so sweaty is because he is going to give it to somebody that Ai Weiwei doesn't want him to.
We have no way of knowing that. There's no genuine. I mean we can speculate and build our own trees of possibility here, but no, I mean as far as we know, we don't know if any of these people are good guys or bad guys, or if we are happy about the fact that they've given it to each other or not. But yeah, he is. The nun has it at the moment, and the Manfred man are about to kill the Sweaty Ted.
Right, yeah.
So they are unconvinced by him saying it's probably in his hands already. And so they say, he's going to kill you, the guy with the gun.
Yeah.
This is your last chance. Where is it? And Sweaty Ted says, I'd rather die. So they kill him.
There you go. All right, fair enough.
And he can do that. He grimaces and braces for impact as they put the gun to his head. Yeah. Like it's somehow going to help. I mean, he's not, I don't know. Clearly, I think with the amount of sweat they've made this man look like he is emitting, he's not supposed to be a cool, calm secret agent like the chieftains. He's not one of them. So, but they've really made him. They might as well just done a close up on his crotch and made him piss himself. I mean, he looks like an idiot waiting to be shot.
Yeah,
he doesn't take it like a man at all. And so, yeah, I was very disappointed by that.
and then we cut to the nun walking along, who's suddenly wearing high heel shoes.
Yeah,
which she didn't appear to be. Well, perhaps that's why those two nuns were looking oddly at her. They're going, "Oh, that's not what it was like at St. Winifred's." And so she wanders down the street. For a minute there, I thought it was Vivian because she was blonde. But there are only two kinds of there are three kind of girls in Flatley's world: dark-haired women who are untouchable or dead, blondes who he's either married to or are making a play for him at the funeral of the dark-haired one, or they're flame-haired Colleens who are singers.
Throwing themselves at him constantly.
Because
he's so irresistible.
Yes, because, in fact, she's the one that said to me, "Oh, Jesus, you're looking very handsome tonight."
She says, "I have to say you look very handsome." And she does have to,
because he wrote it. He wrote it down for her to say.
So now she has to say it.
Yes. This is a film where he has written that women who are 25 years too young for him fling themselves at him.
Yeah.
And he's responsible for their death or for spurning them, and other older men like Eric Roberts end up with them.
Yeah.
That's Jesus Christ. So anyway, the nun wanders off down the street, drops
her habit with a flourish.
With a flower into a bin, which once a nun, always a nun. Keep Britain tidy. She hands it over to a man somebody
in a car,
in a car who obviously got a passenger because we're in England.
Yeah.
So the driver is on the right. She hands it into the left-hand window.
It's conspiracy.
Passenger window. So somebody there. It's probably Farouk taking it back. Yeah. Oh, sorry, wait, go. Yeah, right, thanks. And then drives off, oddly, past another car that's parked on the sidewalk, on the pavement, with its lights on, and apparently nobody in it. So I'm confused.
Probably that's the nun's car, I imagine.
But she gets to the end of the street and turns left. She doesn't go to it. I was thinking much the same, but I did go back and have a look. Then, in case you forgot where we were, we get a pull-out shot of London. It's still 5 to 10, and the quarter
the same piece of stock footage, isn't it?
And the quarter chime rings again. So either it's been no time at all, or 24 hours.
I know
it's been an hour.
It's just after 10 years later. They was earlier that evening. But they cut that bit out.
Yeah.
And then now we've caught up again with the 10 years later.
About 10 o'clock, just 14. Yeah.
So then we go.
That in a way, that's the second pre-title sequence.
Yeah, because that's London done for now. At least we'll see a bit of London again.
Then we get a rapid bunch of the Irish film crew are going, "Oh, this is fucking brilliant. We're in Barbados. Let's go shoot lovely things." And
go, a few nice bits of B-roll.
Yeah, and the B-roll goes from waves to sunset to the moon to nighttime. So why did we rapidly hurtle through a day? Why didn't they just cut to?
Well, because this isn't that same day in London, is it? This is later on. So we have to show time passing in some way, because otherwise people are going to be confused.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Except surely if it's Barbados, they're like 7 hours behind or something. So it's probably the same time.
So maybe this was just them catching up with that bit of stock footage from. Yeah.
So
maybe.
So then we're in. Oh my God! Then we're in. Basically, right, we've gone from James Bond to Casablanca.
Yeah.
So all of our mentions of Philip Marlowe and Humphrey Bogart, we're now. This is it. This is Flatley's other part of his fantasy, is that he is Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
He does get to wear a light-coloured tuxedo shortly, but not yet. So what we get is, so over all this shot of the B-roll of Barbados, which is probably, they just went, oh my God, this is brilliant. Just think we could be working on that Paradise police procedural bollocks that's on BBC. But no, we're in Barbados. And the band is playing a version of Mac the Knife.
Yep, Tony's tending bar.
Yeah,
that is his.
And the band. Right before we get there, the band. So this version is quite a nice laid back version with a muted trumpet. You know, where you stick what looks like it looks like a cocktail shaker up the end of your trumpet. And it gives it a kind of, but yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you look at the trumpet; he's not got one in the trumpet. No. and the pianist is just kind of playing the vamp chords under the trumpet, playing the melody. But as we're panning across the band, the pianist does this flourish from his right hand, which is playing the treble end, over his left hand to play a bass note, and it doesn't. The playback doesn't warrant it at all. So Christ knows what they were playing back. It just kind of,
and yeah, if
you could hear it, it would go bonk.
And yet Madeline is singing Mac the Knife, so I don't know what are they playing for while she sings it.
I know.
So yeah,
and then we're across to Tony, who does what no man else can do in the Chieftains team, which is to wink. he winks when he serves the drink. I've worked it out.
Okay.
I wink.
It's not as simple as
you drink.
Drinking. Serving drinks. He also has to wink.
He won't, because you've got to wink, which gives you permission to actually take the drink.
Madeline misses out a couple of lines in Mac the Knife.
Yeah.
Because it goes straight from when the shark bites with his teeth to so there's never a trace of red.
Yeah.
Which is the problem with diegetic music, really. If you then want to edit your scene, you have to edit. You have to keep the music bit in, and it gets very complicated if you're actually playing the music live or singing it live. Yeah. They could have faded it down more when they cut to spending half a verse watching Victor squeezing himself into a tuxedo 2 sizes too small for him.
Exactly.
They could have faded it down at that point, or not shown him doing that.
Yes, exactly.
Because there's no real need to watch him dress.
No need to do that.
When he comes in a tuxedo 2 sizes too small for him, I think the viewing public can assume at some point he put it on.
Put that on.
We don't need to see it happen.
No, but the thing is, right, this is his Daniel Craig moment. He's going, right, how do I keep my Bond fantasy from when I was 12? So he was born in 1958. So when he was 12, it will be 1970. So Bond in 1970 was Roger Moore?
No, not yet.
Okay. Is it still...
It was still Connery? Yeah.
Oh, so come back after Lazenby. Right. So it's still Connery. So it's
not
yet...
He did Diamonds Off Forever.
Right. Yeah. So it's... So it's still quite 60s. So that's what he's going for. And Daniel Craig's Bond is a bit more 60s, Sean Connery. And Daniel Craig is quite built. And he looks good in a nicely cut suit. So what's the best way to shortcut that? Because Daniel Craig spends 6 months, beating his flabby body into shape so that he looks good, much like Harrison Ford for Indiana Jones and all of those. But he's just been de-aged for the latest one. So what's the shortcut for that? We can't afford the CGI here in Dance Lord Productions. So what we'll do, we'll just get smaller tuxedos. And I will look both slim and built. But it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. He looks like he's bursting out of it. But yeah, so he's
like he's gone for the John Cooper Clarke version of Suit.
Yeah.
Make it look so small, like I can't breathe. Yeah.
So he is there. Victor is there. Tony, the bartender, is there. Matiti also works there, apparently as some kind of concierge. He is walking down the stairs with Victor, telling him. He says, we expect the Prince of Albania at the end of the week. Like, telling him who's coming to the hotel that Victor owns and runs. Kaz is there too. We see her on the stairs. Not sure what she does yet. Not clear.
No, she hasn't aged a bit.
No, obviously.
And if anything, it's wearing fewer items of underwear.
Much fewer, yeah. And we haven't seen Nick yet, but he's probably there too. In fact, he is. We'll see him in a minute. So, here's what happened in the universe of this film.
Yeah.
When Victor, the head of the chieftains, decided to retire from life as a secret agent.
Yeah.
Almost all of his team also went, yeah, right, fuck it. We'll come and do menial jobs in a hotel in Barbados for you.
Yeah.
Instead of being elite Secret Service agents in London. Yeah. Where we presumably have a career and experience and friends and family and a life.
Had a salary. Houses.
But no, Victor, property, you just buy a beach house in Barbados and we'll come and do whatever shitty job you want us to do just so that we are all together. I will give up my career as a secret agent to be
for the agency,
a receptionist at a hotel.
Because let's face it, I didn't do much beyond that elsewhere. I think the one that's kind of loving it the most is Tony the barman, because he's now got a beard. He's got tats.
Tony's fine because that's all he was doing anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
that was his job.
Oh, that's his. Yeah, he's going. Do you want to come and run a bar in Barbados?
He's already a barman. Nick's doing all right for himself because he doesn't appear to have a job.
No,
he just hangs out there and drinks and eats.
That's because he gave it all up, didn't he?
Yeah.
I may be out of the game, he says later on. I may be out of the game, but I can smell trouble.
Oh, he's much more Irish than that, I think you'll find.
I may be out of the game, but I can smell trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to be in the game to smell trouble. We can all smell trouble. As soon as he said a Michael Flatley film, we all smelt trouble. Thank you very much. Yeah, so the only newcomer is Maddie, the flame-haired Colleen, whose job is actually to be a flame-haired Colleen, and sing and be seductive and try and woo the only stodgy, wide, stuffed into a tuxedo guy there. I mean, even Tony the barman looks more handsome now. He's got tattoos and a hat and a beard than Flatley ever did. Tony he's flourishing. He's absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
And in fact, he's standing up there. He's obviously the sound man as well, because he's standing up there with Nick on the balcony, looking down approvingly.
Yeah, he surveys the room. Maybe he's thinking something. It's hard to tell. It looks like he's holding in a fart. That's how you do acting, isn't it? Yeah, look like you're holding in a fart. But I think I've got a feeling actually that Tony, he is the man behind it all. So when Ai Weiwei was supposed to deliver the stuff, it was at Tony's behest. So he set this entire thing up to try and do can make up your
away
own
with
films
Flatley.
all you like.
Yeah. Well, why not? Flatley's bloody done it. Yeah.
So now you might think that possibly these people, these elite secret agent team, they're all working at this hotel in Barbados as a cover.
Yes.
Which would be an interesting story.
Yes.
Arguably. Could be made an interesting story.
Yeah.
I'm going to ruin that for you right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely not that.
No.
They are absolutely not doing that. They have given up their good jobs that they beat probably hundreds, thousands of other people to, because that's not an easy job to get.
They're not young people. They've been doing it for a long time. Yeah.
A secret agency, decades from retirement, most of them. Certainly all the women.
Yeah.
But no, they gave it up. They gave it all up because Victor was like, "Fuck this, I've had enough." So, Kaz now answers the old-fashioned corded landline phone because apparently that's her job is answering phones.
They got the same. They've also got the same lamps. I noticed as the 1940s office.
Well, you can't reuse props wherever you can, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah, I suspect they just shot that. That's the other way. It's the other angle in the office. Put a pot plant in, make it Barbados. Yeah. Yeah.
So she picks up the phone, hands it to Matiti, who takes a booking while we and Kaz watch. No, like
what? Why does how far below a receptionist must she be?
She can't even book someone in
and then take a booking. You have to just answer the phone and give it to somebody else who takes the booking.
She can't be trusted with talking to the guests.
No, because who knows what secrets she'll let slip from having been working at MI6 all this time. Yeah. However, we know that she does have a secret because she can actually make a call, but she can only make outgoing calls, turns out.
And we will find out, and I will point this out when it comes to it, we will find out that she is, in fact, by far the best spy among this group.
Yeah.
By a country mile.
Yeah.
Like, she is head and shoulders above all of the rest of them in her ability to deceive.
To do spying.
Yeah. So...
so she has to make. So there we go. So even though we've stood there and Kaz has stood there,
he hasn't said anything interesting. He's just been like, okay, we can help you with that.
She says, "Is there anything wrong?" Or
after he's handed her the phone to hang up. Yeah, because he could totally reach, but he can't do that. He's not. That's not in his skill set. He only does the talking.
No, that's too far below him. That's way below his pay grade.
Yeah. So he says to her, "Prepare the Infinity Suite."
Yeah.
Because, the Infinity Suite will get more mentions in this film than some of these people have lines.
Here's the drinking game.
Absolutely.
Right up,
every time they mention the Infinity Suite, drink.
Yeah, but only if Tony winks. You can't drink. It's like
you'll
Simon
still
says.
Be very badly off.
Yeah.
So he's Matiti. These are two people who have worked together as elite secret agents. He tells her to prepare the Infinity Suite. She says, "Yes, sir." What the fuck? Who they fought together, like side by side, for enough years to be worth leaving their jobs to work together to never leave Victor's
side. With a man who can do things no other man can.
Why is she a maid? He didn't say have someone prepare the Infinity Suite.
Yeah,
she's got to go and do it.
Well, I think it's no coincidence that it's called the Infinity Suite. I think there's some sort of time travel involved that only she, with her MI6,
maybe that's her special skill.
Credentials.
Preparing the Infinity Suite.
Yes, prepare the Infinity Suite because we've got to send us, because the stuff that happened in London hasn't happened yet. Because that's 7 hours in the future. So she's going to make sure that happens.
Yeah, he looks troubled. And she says, "Is everything okay?" And he hands her a post-it note that he's written down the guest's name on, because even though he was standing there with the ledger, the checking in book, he didn't put in the details in the book. He wrote it on a note, because presumably then she has to transcribe stuff. That'll be her job for later in the evening. But he hands her the thing with the name and says, "Will you run a check on this name?"
Yeah. And then she goes,
she wants to clarify.
I'm going to have to use the telephone to make an outgoing call.
I don't have the authority. to do that, you know. So she checks with him that it's all right if she calls London.
Got to call London. And not... and it's...
He doesn't say all right, but
she doesn't...
Wait, don't forget there's a time difference or anything like that. He doesn't say that.
Yeah. No. But it'll be nighttime, whatever it is, because it's nighttime here. Yeah. So, and actually, it's going to be even later because.
Well, I mean, it's going to be several scenes before she actually ends up doing it.
Yeah. Quite. So then we get a wide shot of Flatley mincing around. He does mince a lot. He minces. He kind of minces into view, and then he looks. He doesn't brood. He looks, and then he minces off somewhere else and shakes hands with people. And then he turns up. So Nick, this is where we finally get to see Nick again.
This is where Nick is. Flatley ends up near Nick, and Nick turns to him and says, "You want a drink, sweetheart?"
Yeah, which is kind of his catchphrase because it contains both that he's drunk and also that he's secretly in love with Victor.
Yeah. So
and,
for some reason he calls Victor sweetheart. Not clear why, but that's fine.
It's their thing.
And now we get Flatley's first line.
I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah.
And then we get more winking.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And Tony winks. So Nick
he doesn't say anything.
At Tony. No. Tony winks.
Go too far.
And he goes, yeah, and I'll make the drink. And then it's like he's so close to them. He could have heard them say it. Do you fancy a drink, sweetheart? I thought you'd never ask. But he has to wait until Nick winks at him.
He can't make a drink on his own authority.
You can't drink without a wink. And then he's that close that you can pull focus and Flatley picks it up from him. It's not like he's across the room or anything, because that would involve a telephone call, which would need Kaz and Matuti to process that.
It's a multiple person job, the telephone calls. So, but Nick is looking out over the guests. He says, "Power crowd in tonight," and then Victor says, "No more than usual. Isn't life great?" Which is another catchphrase that we'll get one more time for no apparent reason.
Oh yeah, when Vivian turns up. Yeah.
And then we get a kind of a walk and talk with Victor and Matiti. And Matiti
but also we get the time passing. There's a lot of these. You get a little set of cutaways of time passing, which you and I have both shot this kind of stuff for wedding videos.
Oh yeah,
because it shows off the decor and it shows off the production values of the wedding dressing, and it also gives a nice little interlude from afternoon, people drinking tea, to the evening, to music starting, and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't belong in a feature film. And it's the same two girls chatting. What's going on? They were the only extras they had.
I am absolutely sure that all of the people who are sitting, chatting, eating, being shown repeatedly at the Blue Moon Club are people who have paid money to be in this film.
You go. Yeah.
They've contributed to Eric Roberts' appearance fee.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you got to show them occasionally, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
You got to give them their money's worth.
And even so, they're sitting down at one point, and then they walk past Matuti and Flatley as they're walking along. That's it.
Yeah. So he says that Blake Molyneux is arriving tomorrow with a small security team and his fiancée. They'll be in the Infinity Suite. Drink.
Yeah.
And
Tony's winked. You're all right. Yeah.
But then he deliberately looks troubled, so that Victor asks him, "Was there something else?" He says, "You heard about the incident in London, the lost Libyan death formula."
Okay, we've got to come up with a really quick phrase to explain why that was an important thing. Oh, so they were Libyans. They were North Africans. That's why they were speaking Arabic. Okay, there you go. Right.
But
okay.
I mean, we'll get more of an explanation later. A Libyan death formula is absolutely not a good description of what this turns out to be. Not in any way.
That's true. No. But it is shorthand to, yes. Why not missing computer disk?
Yeah,
containing
something that suggests the thing we've already seen and heard about a bit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yes.
If they could plant something earlier on,
or explain,
call it something other than the hollow coin. Yeah. Or call it the hollow coin again now, and then we're like, oh, what's the hollow coin?
Oh, what's the hollow coin?
Yeah. But no, call it, if they call it, and this is the only time it will be called the Lost Libyan Death Formula, so they're calling it a different thing every time it comes up.
So when they were saying, yes, I'd rather die, it's going to go, yes, well, we Libyans will hold you to that. Oh, okay, they're Libyans, right, got you. Okay, they're the same people in Back to the Future that were angry about the stealing of the nuclear power. Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, the Lost Libyan Death Formula, he's obviously, because, you'd keep up with that kind of stuff. You'd hear about that if it went. Oh yeah, if it'd be in the papers, probably.
Nightclub in Casablanca, Barbados.
The front page of last week's Daily Mail that you'd get in the gift shop at the Blue Moon would say Libyan death formula lost in London.
That's right. Yeah. Are we expecting this to affect house prices? No. Yeah. But. Does he have anything to say about that?
Well, it turns out, he grunts a bit, and then he says, Matiti says that Blake Molyneux, it's rumoured...
somehow mixed up.
It's rumoured he's involved in illegal arms dealing. And it just happens that he's coming here to strike a deal the week after the formula went missing. So,
well, that's just coincidental.
I mean, absolutely, things happen a week away from each other all the time. Yeah. But also, Kaz hasn't done a check yet. Is it?
Yes.
So did he just know that Blake Molyneux is rumoured to be involved in illegal arms dealing? How did he know it was the same Blake Molyneux? That's not a unique name.
No.
It's not common, sure. But it's possible that a guy called Blake Molyneux is booked into their hotel with his fiancée, who isn't the illegal arms dealer. The rumoured illegal arms dealer, Blake Molyneux, who apparently isn't a very widely known rumour because his wife, the former secret agent, or his fiancée, the former secret agent, has never heard of it. She hadn't got a fucking clue.
No. And all she did whilst investigating him for 5 years was fall in love with him.
So,
have you seen him? Okay, and if Flatley spends the entire film in clothes that are 2 sizes too small for him, Eric Roberts spends the entire film in clothes that are 2 sizes too big for him.
It's like David they swapped Byrne wardrobes.
And his giant suit from Stop Making Sense, and that's smaller than what Eric Roberts is wearing. I can only think that somebody else was being cast as Eric Roberts.
No, I think Flatley was going for a specific look, and when he squeezed into that tuxedo.
Yeah,
he was like, well, it's not quite tight enough, but maybe if we put everyone else in clothes that are too big for them, it'll look tighter on me.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to go
by
back
comparison.
And check the wardrobes. Can we not get John Cooper Clarke, suit maker, involved in this?
So,
yeah. So if you want to look slim, hang about with fat people. Yes, if you want to
look like you're wearing clothes that are way too small for you.
Hang about with David Byrne in his giant talking head suit.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it all makes perfect sense now.
So even if Matiti, for some reason, knew that Blake Molyneux, the arms dealer, was the one who was coming, how does he know he's coming to do a deal? Did they say that on the phone?
Well, that's because he's a dealer.
No, but arms dealers can go places where they aren't dealing arms. They're allowed a holiday. He's just going to Barbados with his fiancée. How does Matiti know he's coming here to do a deal?
To do a deal. That's right. Well, I guess, even if he goes to Tesco's, he's going to do a deal. If he goes to do some... Yeah, where are you going? I'm going to Home Depot. Why? What are you getting? I just need to get some jigsaw blades. Are you not doing an arms deal? No. I've got to cut a hole to put a new sink in the worktop. I really do need some jigsaw blades.
Sounds very suspicious to me. You're probably going to meet a contact.
Yeah, and do a deal. Well, give me a break, will you? I've got my unsuspecting wife expects me to fix the kitchen, so that's what I'm doing this weekend. I'm not conducting arms deals with people who want to blow the side of California off for Christopher Walken. Oh, you say that? Yeah, but I'm a loyal soldier. Just call me Matootie. Yeah.
So, but Victor is unmoved by the story of the lost Libyan death formula and the rumoured arms dealer.
Rumoured arms dealer who might be connected with it because it's only a week. I know it's a week has passed since 40,000 people died of COVID, and somehow he's connected.
So he said, what they do with their lives is their business.
So yes, this is my theory. This is the thing that he does that no other man can do.
Ignore Libyan death formula.
Ignore humanitarian crises. What they want to do with their lives, leave them to it.
Yeah, he's the hero of this film, and he will refuse to do anything about terrorist activity for 80% of this film, at least.
Yeah, and until such
That's
time as
thing.
he can get his shirt off and have that kind of that one line of blood that Captain Kirk used to get from his left hand side of his mouth.
It's 10 years after the incident.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't give a shit about how many people die so long as he doesn't have to get involved.
Yeah. Because he's traumatized beyond belief.
Yeah. So we get
I'll never get past this.
Just to solidify that, we get another bit of a flashback to the event.
Yeah.
With a bit more fire and a bit more gritted teeth.
Yeah.
And this is where Madeline...
And I think there's a tight-fitting leather jacket as well.
Oh, yeah. Well,
also,
is it that tight-fitting?
I just stop you there? Because before that, there's another awful edit. Just because as Matootie walks away and goes, just as you
couldn't
wish.
Possibly have kept a list of all the awful edits.
Because they're only the ones that screamed at me. So there's a bit. So Matootie goes, as you wish, sir. Like, I don't think that because they were members of a team that all had unique abilities. One of them could
one of them can pick up a phone.
One of them could turn into fire, and the other one could stretch and the other one turns into a man made of rock, all that kind of stuff. I don't know that they would defer to one another. So he goes, yes, well, I'm running the hotel now. So what I say to it, I forgot I gave up my highly paid job to be subservient to you.
This is what I'm saying when Kaz says yes, sir, to Matiti.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is he to tell her to go and prepare the Infinity Suite?
Exactly. And Matiti says to Flatley, as you wish, sir.
Yeah.
And then Flatley watches him go, and the cut is, Christ. He turns around to brood, and it doesn't cut on action.
No, absolutely not.
He's standing there, he watches Matootie go off, his head is still. It cuts, his head is still, and then it
moves. Absolutely.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Who fucking edited this thing? Surely
But this is the point where Madeline comes up to him and says, "Great crowd tonight, Victor. I must say you're looking very handsome."
Because you wrote it in the script.
I must say that because it says it right here in the script that you wrote and paid me to say.
Yeah.
And then she invites him for a few drinks with the other chieftains. All the others are, I think, chieftains apart from the pianist, because none of them could play the piano.
Yeah.
And in what I put in what might be the most awkward scene ever committed to film, the chieftains plus Maddie, she can't be one. She's too young. Stand around a piano and laugh at nothing, say nothing, while an unnamed man plays piano. Nick hugs Maddie, who is half his age at best. Victor dances cheek to cheek with Kaz, who's half his age. Yeah. And then Victor's got his arm around young Maddie, pulling her cheek to his. This is not good employee-employer conduct.
No.
In the Me Too generation. This is very, very bad. She's not even one of the chieftains, I don't think. And then Nick says, another drink, because that's his thing. And Victor says, early night for me, son. And now,
it must be 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, yeah, this is a hotel bar in Barbados. After every single guest has left for the night, the staff have sat around drinking. We know that
because we've had the montage of people putting out candles.
Yeah, they've sat around drinking, dancing and playing piano. It must be at least 4 a.m. But no, he's early night. Normally he's up till 6.
Yeah.
So.
Then they do the head knocking thing.
Yeah, they do that thing, the thing where they kind of bump their foreheads together.
To the end.
And they go, to the end. Then...
Well, it's obviously not to the end because you've just squashed the end because you're heading off to bed.
And then someone off screen, probably Tony, says, good night, boss.
Yeah.
It could be, it's hard to say. We don't see him.
Well, I think because about two hours later, he said, good morning, boss.
Yeah, well, or someone screen. Does. We don't see him say it.
Yeah, it must be Tony.
It's entirely possible there's another unseen member of staff who we only hear but never see.
Yeah, and he's the invisible one.
Yeah.
That's his unique thing. He's actually invisible, yeah. As he heads off to bed, Tony is still drinking.
Yeah.
Tony the barman.
Yeah.
Still drinking. Maddie looks at
it's only Victor going to bed. The rest of them, they're probably going to have a few more.
Piano player's still playing.
Yeah.
His hands are still moving back and forth. Yeah.
So, and then Victor kind of puts his hand on Matiti's shoulder and says, my loyal soldier.
I know.
For some reason.
Of what?
Not clear. Not clear at all.
Because if you're a loyal soldier, he's
well done for being loyal and doing absolutely nothing like I asked you to.
Infinity War. Yes, it turns out. Yeah. With the whole dossier thing, right? Why does he put it when we get there? Why does he put it down on the table too far away from him?
And then so that he can slide it along.
Slides it along.
Yeah, so that they can use their camera slider to match the action of the folder, you see, because they've got the slider, they've got to use it.
Might as well.
Yeah. Well, that is a camera shot we'll be discussing in more detail in the next episode, because that's the end of this section of Barbados, and the next scene is the previously mentioned torture scene, which we will talk about.
Yeah, where Ai Weiwei gets it, and quite, quite understandably.
Not understandably.
No, but quite understandably, he's a bit miffed.
Oh, he's upset
about it.
Yeah, I think everyone in the room is quite upset, apart from the guy who's doing the actual torturing. Who's very pumped, holding that hammer for the longest time. Yeah, even though he doesn't use it.
Doesn't use it. He puts it down. But he's obviously been using it, or he's very excited at the prospect of just using it because he just likes tools.
I assumed that at the last minute it occurred to him that actually that wasn't the thing he needed. He wanted to go and pick up the other thing.
Wrong tool.
So it's a bit he was there ready to use it. He was like, "Oh no, not this.
Oh no, wrong tool.
The other
wrong
thing.
Tool.
Yeah.
It's like when you're up a ladder and you've got to knock a raw plug in the ceiling, and all you've got is a drill.
Yeah.
And you know it's the wrong tool, and yet you try and use it. And you just go, it's just crazy. I'm just going to have to go down. I'm just going to have to
go down the ladder.
Get the right tool. It's not everything is a hammer. You know, if you think everything is a hammer, if you've got a hammer in your hand, everything.
If you think everything's a hammer, then
everything's a hammer.
You've got is a nail.
Exactly. Think everything's a hammer, you're going to smash people's heads in. And actually, you could just short circuit that whole thing. You go, do you know what? I ought to go electric. That's what I need to be doing. Okay, no, I could get petrol driven. That's what I should be doing. God, I'm standing here getting pumped about holding a hammer, and everything's beginning to look like a nail. It's what I was struggling to say, but I've been winking with Tony all this time. If you can't wank, you don't drink.
If you would like to hear more of this,
because let's face it, what we're doing is we're conducting a public service, really, because you really know. I mean, we say this often. Don't go and watch the film, but please, not even for a laugh. Oh, okay, yeah, maybe for a laugh, but only with other people.
Yeah, with other people and alcohol. I think on your own, it's not funny. It's just bad.
It's just bad. It's
so really, we are
bad.
Rather than spending 82 minutes plus credits watching this, instead spend multiple hours listening to us talk about it.
Yeah, with a drink in your hand.
Yeah.
And every time Tony winks, you take a drink.
And but going forward, these will only be for patrons, because this is the kind of thing we do for patrons.
Yeah,
it is talking about.
So if you'd like to
films,
go
and
films
stuff,
and
books.
YouTube channels and books, and what else have we talked about? Music, mime. No,
I think it's mostly films, books, and YouTube channels.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're all, and there's like countless hours of them, literally countless hours of. We've done things about documentaries about the election frauds, documentary-shaped films about election frauds, books about Trump's presidency, and we're currently reading Mary Trump, his niece's one. So yeah, there's thousands of hours available that you could get if you.
There's hundreds of hours. There will at some point. If you're listening to this in 2030, there's probably thousands of hours.
Thousands of hours. Yeah. So yes, if you're booked into the Infinity Suite, then just look out the window now. There's thousands of hours rolling by. So yeah, if you'd like to get access to those, just all you need to do is sign up to be a patron.
Patreon.com/ftrump. And meanwhile, we'll see our patrons next time.